Welcome to Don't Whistle at Night podcast, where Navajo legends echo in the shadows. Darren and Dawn will guide you through the sacred fire of native storytelling, where the old stories breathe, the unknown walks among us, and voices, long hidden, rise to be heard. And remember, don't whistle at night.
Hey everyone, hello. Welcome to Don't Whistle at Night. We are broadcasting live on the United Public Radio Network, 107.7 FM in New Orleans. Hello everyone, I am Don Yazzie, your host. And with me, as always, my brother, co-host Darren Yazzie. He'll join us as soon as he's ready. You ready, Darren? Okay, we're bringing him on. I think we'll give him a few minutes. Tonight we here he is. He's ready.
Hey,
All right, there he is. What's up, man? How's it going? How's the weather like out there in Pine Hill area?
It's a nice 80 degrees. Of course, the gnats are out and everybody's cooking, so it's nice humidity. But from what I was told too, it's male. What is it called? Male mental health month. So, ask for help. It's a being a boy growing up. For me, it was never really asked for help, and to now, it's hard for me to ask for help. So, just to let you guys know, it's okay. It's okay to ask for help, especially everything in everyday life, and most importantly, the mental part, because now on my side, we never really talked about feelings. So, what is it? Where does it come from? How to handle it properly. And one thing not to do is don't bottle your emotions up, because it will eat you from the inside and inside out. So, take care of yourselves out there, and most importantly, watch out for one another, take care of one another. So, to that, I shall crack a monster, a Red Bull for the spirits here in a bit. So, kind of tired, take a late night drive.
Oh yeah. Show the camera. Maybe we'll get a sponsorship. Sponsorship right there. Red Bull. You're on mute. He muted himself.
Yeah, we're on
there you go.
here. So
Hello everyone.
So.
Oh, nice. Do you hear that, Red Bull? Sponsor us, please. Hello, well done, 505. Welcome in. Hey, B-Cast, how's it going? One of the hardest guys to meet up with is B-Cast, man. But thank you for your service out there, brother, and doing what you're doing. Yeah, tonight's guest was Beary Oliver, but there's some schedule conflicts, and things do come up from time to time. We're all human, and we all can't make our date sometime, and that's perfectly fine. There's always second chance, third chance. And what's good about it is that we are a weekly show, so maybe we'll do 2 weeks, 2 shows a week. I'll ask the boss lady. Maybe we can get a sponsor night, who knows. Pick up another show. I think everyone would like that. So tonight we are going to bring on a few team members, and here's one of them. And she would like to remain anonymous in the stories that we're going to be sharing. This is one of our team members. We're going to be sharing about what happened to us last week's investigation out in Gallup area. We investigated a meetup, a small little tiny cave where people that practice witchcraft, people that do black magic, and they make their promises and deals there, and they meet with other skinwalkers in the area, in the general area, and they all meet there. They congregate for who knows what. So Darren and I and our team, we went to this location. It was guarded by the locals, so not anybody can just roll up in there. You have to know the locals there. You have to be invited. And this is what happened during this weekend, last weekend, and it got very, very serious. So far, we have one teammate here, and let's welcome in our teammate, Darren. Oh, I think. Hello,
Yeah,
person number 2.
Testing,
Hello.
testing, 1, 2, 3. Can you hear me?
you're good.
Yeah.
Check 1, check 2.
Cool. Check one, check 2.
So
Camera 1, camera 2.
you are anonymous person number 2. Is that how you want to be addressed tonight?
Yes, please. That would be great.
We'll call you MP2 then. And yeah, keep it short and simple right there. But so MP2, give us a little background of your history. When was the first time you ever encountered the paranormal and stuff like that. I can remember you telling me a little person story too, which is really interesting. I don't know if you want to go into that or
Let's leave the little person story a little on the DL because then that gives away who I am.
Okay.
But I think when I first started encountering like paranormal is when I was probably about 4 or 5 years old. I was raised by my great grandma, and she lived on the southern part of the Navajo Nation. And I used to spend my summers with her, and we used to go to a trading post all the time. And I would see all these elders, sitting outside and not noticing how they were dressed, and putting 2 and 2 together and having these conversations with them. And come to find out, these were individuals who had passed 20, 30 years ago, and I was, having full-on conversations with them.
Wait, what?
About the
What?
changes.
So you as a kid you were talking with the dead, huh? You would say?
As a kid, I was talking to ghosts. Yeah.
Oh, I would have never have guessed that. Or wow, that is really interesting, huh? We'll talk more about that later because that's an interesting topic.
No problem. But yeah, I remember one time we went into the trading post, and I was talking to the guy who's in charge of the trading post. He would give out candy to the kids and everything. And I asked him, I said, can I play with that little boy? And he wants me to play with him. And he's like, who are you talking about? And I explained to him, and he kind of just got quiet. And then I could overhear him talking to my great grandma, and he was like, oh, that used to be my brother. He passed away a long time ago, and he's been following me around. And they're like, no, you can't play with him. And I was like, oh, okay. I was like, all right, no problem. That's when the paranormal started for me. I've come to realize that, I could see people who weren't there, and they could see I was there, and it became a hassle growing up because then they would be like, oh, you can see me, talk to me. And I'm like, nope, I'm not talking. I don't have time for this conversation. And slowly, I was told to at least try to help them, help them understand that they're not here anymore. Bigfoot, Rayma, nice. And then I think those were, my first ghost encounters. And then as I got older, I moved to where I was originally raised, and I had my first couple SW encounters.
You say skinwalkers here, mystery
Oh.
person. You don't have to use a TikTok code here. You can tell us on
okay.
TikTok. Go ahead.
Well, I had my first skinwalker encounter. I think I was about 10 or 11, and it was just thinking about it now. Like I can feel like my throat like starting to like kind of tense up because it was scary, So one of my aunts, she was having a ceremony done. Her and her partner, they both came out from Rama. Um, my aunt and her partner were from Rama, and they both came out. They're my favorite aunties, and they're doing a ceremony. We were in the Hogan with the medicine man and everything, and I had two miniature dogs, and they were outside of the Hogan guarding the door. And it came to the time to take out whatever was bothering my aunt. And the medicine man said, we're going to turn off all the lights. If you hear anything, let us know. If you see anything, let us know. Kind of just using our senses to tell, what was going on. And during that whole time, we were told to sit still, not to be afraid of whatever shows up. And that whole time, my dogs were in front of the Hogan, and they were growling at something. They were fighting something, and I was getting worried because they're small dogs and everything. And everything went smoothly. Everything was done. And the medicine man left. And so we came back into the house. We were eating, and then the dogs went all crazy. And there was several of my family members there, and we were all looking out the window. And where my aunt and her partner had parked their vehicle, we saw this really big, massive shadow. Looked like a cow at first, as walking in the backside of their truck. And my heart's racing. It's weird. But I literally watched this thing go from this big cow-looking thing to shrinking down all the way down underneath the vehicle. Like it just slithered like a shadow right underneath the vehicle. And all of my cousins and we all got scared, and we're like, ah, ah. And so we were getting hysterical and everything. And then the dogs, they started fighting this thing, and the dogs got scared, and they all ran on the porch. And my great grandma was sitting there. She was trying to yell, like, what's going on, what's happening? And none of us could tell her what was happening. So that shadow went underneath the other truck that was there. And my aunt, she used to be a security guard for one of the hospitals, and for Defiance, the old hospital. There's stories to that too that she shared with me growing up. But she had her own personal protection and everything on the side door on the truck. And she was like, I have my gun in there. I can go get it. And we're like, well, where is that thing at? Is it truck? And where is it at? And so come to find out, it was underneath her truck. And out of nowhere, she just realized that she locked her truck. So the only way was those, like the back window where they have these, he used to slide open from the outside and the inside. 1996 Chevy Silverado truck. Anyway, so she climbed in. She couldn't fit because she had broad shoulders, and I was the only small one there. So they're like, hey, you're gonna have to go get it. And I was like crying. I was like, I'm scared. I don't want to. I have to walk by the truck. And they're like, just do it. And I was like, fuck. So I jumped in, grabbed it, ran all the way back inside, and I got so scared. And then I was sitting by my grandma, I was crying. She was like, what's going on? And she finally told us what was happening. And she was like, put some ash on the gun, bless yourself first. And none of them wanted to listen. So my aunt and my uncle, they went down the porch to her vehicle, and they had a big flashlight, and they shined it on this thing. And what went from, a big cow came to like a small dog. And the small dog, scary to think about, because just watching this as a kid, witnessing it I would say it scarred me. But this dog had a really small head and really big shoulders, and then the two front arms were bent outward. So I don't know if that makes sense. So like the elbows were outward, and then the paws were kind of faced in underneath itself.
Oh, kind of like your, those, how they draw bulldogs, their arms are kind of bent.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Wow.
So it was like that, but its legs were, just straight out, kind of like somebody was
laying on their stomach and their legs were just straight out, and it was really long. So it was like a disproportionate dog. And they were like, they shot at it. And when they shot at it, it yelped. But in the middle of yelping, you heard this woman just, scream at the same time. So it was like, "Ow!" And like we all got scared, and I was like, oh. And then it started talking. And there's one video that anywhere, either on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. If I see that video, I immediately scroll away. But I don't know if you guys seen that video of that Chihuahua where it's growling and then they move the mouth, the jaw, and it makes that weird sound.
No, I haven't seen that one.
I will send it to you guys.
All right.
But it started talking like it was like gurgling, and it sounded so demonic and so scary. And I can hear it now, and I got goosebumps and everything.
Yeah.
And it was the scariest thing ever. And I was just sitting there crying, and they finally pulled me away from the door, and I was sitting there crying, trying to figure out what was going on. And then it started talking and saying disgusting things to my family, saying like, "Oh, I'm gonna unalive you. I'm gonna eat your children. I'm gonna do this to your women and whatnot." And we shot at it again. Nothing happened. And they ran back inside. They needed to refill, the mag and everything. And then my grandma, who was raising me, she had a shotgun, 12 gauge, and she brought that out. She's like, "This is gonna hurt it," or whatever. And that didn't help. They shot it twice, and it started crawling out from the truck. And while it was crawling, it was like, my leg again, I said the way the arms were, it was like dragging itself, and the legs were like sliding on the ground back and forth. And it was just disgusting. And it was trying to crawl up the stairs and trying to get into the house. And we had those old wooden brooms with like, the 4-inch diameter broomstick and everything. And my uncle came out with that, and he whacked it on top of the head of that dog, and that whole broomstick broke, and we all ran inside and locked the door. And the door, whatever that thing was, banging on the door, ringing on the screen door. And, my great grandma, at the age of 82, she got up, she was fed up with this shit. And, she grabbed the 12 gauge, gave it to my uncle, put ash all over his face, put ash on all of us, covered the gun with ash. And she's like, "Do it now." And so we all went back out there again. I was holding the flashlight. So one time as a kid, you don't want to hold a flashlight, but I had to do it. And they shot it, and that thing screamed so loud, and it was disgusting. And when that blood came out, I don't know if you guys ever butchered a cow, but it was that blood smelled horrid. It was sour. It was salty, and it just made all of us gag and everything. And whatever that thing was, it passed out trying to crawl out from the back end of the truck. And we called the medicine man, said, "Hey, this thing showed up over here." And he was like, "Okay, let me turn back around. I'll be over there soon." And so my great grandma had told him, "Throw it in a bucket and throw it down the hill." And they're like, "All right." So my uncle, my aunt, they threw it in the bucket, and it was snowing around that time too. So they threw it over the hill and everything. And when the medicine man came, take me to that thing, because I need to do some stuff to get rid of it. Whatever you guys decide to do, let me know. And we just had sent back whatever they did. And so they took him over there, and they came back within 20 minutes. And the medicine man said, "I'm gonna sleep here tonight." So we set him up in the hogan, and my aunt and my uncle were tripping out. And we're like, "What happened?" And they're like, "Oh, we went back to where we threw it, and it wasn't there anymore." And they followed the tracks of the dog, and it was dog prints. It was bloody. And then where the 2 front paws were, like you just see from half dog, and then you see fingertips come out. Yeah. And then it was like somebody crawling on their knees. And then they got to their legs, and one of their legs were dragging, and it was blood trail. And then it turned into them running, and then it turned into deer tracks. And so we're like freaking out. And the next day, the medicine man did some blessings and everything. And he was like, oh, in 4 days, you'll find out who it is. And we're like, all right. And so they're like, then he was like, just remember where you shot the thing. And we're like, okay. Then my aunt, my uncle were like, oh, we shot it in the leg and in the arm. Like, we remember because there's blood right there. Then 4 days later, one of our neighbors down the hill, I guess she somehow fell down 3 little stairs off her porch and broke her arm and her leg.
Wow.
And so we were like, oh, okay. And she didn't want to talk to us. We kind of left it at that. And then more stuff started happening in that area that's not really known for bears. But we actually had a quote-unquote a bear, if you get what I mean. I think it was a skinwalker, but it showed up trying to open up the windows and open up the doors. And I remember seeing that too. And again, that smell of death was just around, and it knew how to turn the doorknob and try to slide open the door. It's like, it's an interesting bear. And then once again, we all huddled together, and my great grandma was doing her protection prayer and everything, and it went away. And that next morning, I went out when we came back, where that door was trying to open the door, and there's footprints there, like men boot footprints. And then where the window was, there was this.
Hello.
Oh.
MP2.
Oh, we lose her.
Hey, there's something out here. And then
there we go.
Everybody came running out, and then my
MP2?
uncle went over to this bag, and it turned out to be a bag and tarp. And inside that bag and tarp was some buckskin. And inside that buckskin, there was 2 dead snakes. There was skulls, and I don't know, trigger warning for a lot of people, but there was a skeleton of a fetus, and it was wrapped up in there.
MP2, where you're starting to cut in and out. I don't know if you can hear me.
We didn't really catch part of the story, or something didn't want you to share that part. So we kind of didn't hear some of it. MP2. She's still cooking. Hello. Hey. Welcome. Well, everyone, welcome in Lee, our teammate Lee. What's up, Lee? How's it going?
How's it going?
Hey, what's up, Lee?
Oh, not much. I think MP2, can you hear us? We got Lee up here. Wait, I think we lost.
1, 2,
MP2.
3. Can you hear me?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, there we go.
I don't think you guys can hear me. No.
You might have to go back on the topic that you
Restart story.
you kind of cut in and out.
Hey, what's up, Bon Koshel 24/7? Hey, what's up, JP? Hey, Foxy Rose 435. What is up? Welcome in, everybody. Welcome in. And we got Carrie Fast 8. This story's wild. Don't lose her. Yeah. We're gonna keep up. We're gonna make her retell the story because we lost her. I mean, it's a really interesting story, especially when you shot the protagonist and you see them the next day, and that's always a good show right there. A good story.
Yeah.
Right.
It's always one. It's the weirdest thing seeing these footprints too, the tracks that they leave.
Oh, we lost her.
The ones I've seen out there in Cameron, you try to reason with yourself, especially with this paranormal stuff. You have to talk to yourself, and when all logic leaves the door, then that's when you start to get kind of intimidated. But it's like how can these little dog prints turn into footprints? It's the craziest thing. It's the wildest thing to see. But that's I did talk about that earlier in the earlier episodes out there in Cameron, Arizona. So
Yep. Everyone, welcome in Mr. Lee. Welcome in Mr. Lee again. He's going to be joining us again next week. So this is a little freestyle tonight, and we're going to take it as it is. And hello, everyone again. Hey Lee, I think we got to talk about what happened last weekend. We shared a little bit with the people on TikTok, and I think we should share a little bit with what happened here on YouTube during one of our investigations out in your neck of the woods.
So what part do you want me to start off with?
Hey, what's up, Rye's in the building, everyone. Freestyling, that's right, Rye.
I guess you can start with the history of the area. The history of the area, and you did mention a couple of areas that you didn't want to go in. Go towards, and I can remember hearing you like, that place scares me, and I kind of, I was like, that's the first time I heard you say that, man. Like that doesn't make me want to make it any better to go over there too. But yeah, dude, it's something else. So we can start, on the history of the land out there, and some of the stories you told us out on your side. MP2.
Sorry, y'all. I lost service. I'm headed home.
Oh, all good. It's all good. Hang on, Lee. Just get that ready. The history on that area where you took us. You guys are not going to be disappointed. It's pretty good. It was a wild night on all of our ends, and we had 3 guests that night too. So it was a wild night for everyone. Before we let Lee cook on what happened to us last weekend, we're gonna let mystery person number 2 restart that story, that crazy story she just left us hanging with. Go ahead, mystery person number 2. Take us away.
Okay, so what's the last part you guys heard me say before I lost service?
Before we lost you, you said that that medicine man said that you're gonna find that person that came by that got shot at that area, and then you were leading us up to that area and we lost you. That's the first part. Then we lost you
So did you hear about
time.
the bears?
Yeah. No, you kind of cut in and out the whole thing. So.
Okay.
Little wolf.
So after that, I remember seeing that too, and it was no.
Yeah, I think we lost her again.
Oh man.
All it happens.
Oh yeah, BCast. We did a photo shoot in Albuquerque.
Testing 1, 2, 3.
Oh, there we go. There she is. Go ahead.
Okay, let me quickly say it. So we got visited by a bear. I remember seeing that bear growing up too, and it was a pretty smart bear because it was trying to open up the screen door and the door somehow with its claws and everything, and it would bang on the windows and try to pop open the screens and everything to try to climb into the house. And my grandma, we would all huddle together with my grandma, and she would, say her protection prayers and everything to keep us safe. And then the next morning, I went outside. I was the first one ready to go to the outhouse because, no running water growing up. Went out to the outhouse and, just happened to look down where that bear was and saw some men footprints. So where the bear was, there was some men's boots and tracks and everything. And as I was coming back, the window where this bear was trying to climb into, there was this bag there, and that bag had a tarp in it, and I yelled out for my family like, hey, there's something out here. And my uncle came out, and
he went towards that,
and he kind of like
packed up and everything.
Oh,
he opened it.
Person.
Yeah, we're starting to lose your MP2.
You're gonna
Give
have
me
to go
like
to a good
give me like
area.
10 minutes. Give me 10.
Yeah.
Yeah, that works.
Come in when you can. We'll let Lee cook. We'll let Lee take over. It's all good. We'll be here. All right. Looking for 10 minutes, guys. Okay. So, Mr. Lee, can you tell us a little bit of the history of that area where you took us, and just a little bit of the provide context of the story, and then you can take us on it.
Okay, so the story of the area, there's really not much to it because growing up, it's just been a normal thing for me. But I would say within like the past 10 years or so, the whole area has been like getting more and more darker, if you want to say it like that. But before when I was growing up, I mean, I could go outside and play in the dark and kind of run around and be a little kid, but ever since, like I said, about 10 years or so, it's just been getting like more and more dark and more spooky, I guess. But it wasn't until just recently it's been getting a lot weirder, because not like in a dark kind of way, but then there's more like visitations, and there's more things that keep popping out, and the whole area is just like that as far back as I can remember, like I said.
Can you elaborate a bit more on weird, like you shadow more, like shadow people, or you see weird stuff in the sky lately, or?
Well, for me growing up, I used to see things, like I said in my past episodes. I used to experience things as well, but it's not limited to me anymore because my dad, my stepmom, even all the way down to my uncle have been seeing more things active in the area. I mean, I'm not sure if it's like anything to do with like Bigfoot or anything like that, but it's just more of like skinwalkers and like I guess more of shadow people, that kind of things.
Huh.
Oh yeah. Especially that owl too, that story, that sad story you shared too. Just being there. Hey, well done, 505. I don't know. Are you an SW? I'm just kidding. I'm not teasing you. But just it's oh man, I can't wait. I cannot wait to get back there during the day, you guys, so we can walk with you, right? I mean, it was such a huge difference. Let me go back. It's such a huge difference with you telling us, coming on here, and with us being there at that exact spot where you experience these things. It just like put everything on another level, especially with it being late at night, 3 in the morning, 2 in the morning. We're checking out all these areas, and it's just like, man, this is we definitely need to come back and get all this down. Go ahead, Darren.
Yeah, for sure. It puts the area in context. When you talk about a story, you don't get to see the area. You can only describe it so much. So to be out there, you really get to see it, and you really get to smell the air, and you feel the dirt, and especially out there where one of the previous guests that we had on, Matthew, he joined us also, and we did check out a couple of areas. When we go back, I would like to go check out
Centaur.
Those centaurs. Yeah, maybe try
that
that.
area you guys took us was pretty scary. Yeah, definitely, Darren. We going back. Definitely to go back in the day, watch the sunset, and just be there at night just to get the full feel, the experience. I mean, I can only imagine being a child, seeing the centaur, trying to take you and then take a horse. I mean, that's another level. Not many people can share that experience. And being there and looking around at that terrain and just like, something can hide here. Something can take cover easily here. You got all these arroyos, you got all these canyons, you got all these creeks. So should we just have Lee tell the story from his wait. Lee, can you tell us about when we showed up after we did the live episode, which was last episode? As soon as that live stream ended, we loaded up. We met Lee's dad, and then we went straight up to the hill, just like going four-wheeling. I was like, "Oh, are you sure, Lee? Damn!" So we went straight up this huge incline to this butte, to this Lone Butte Mesa type of deal. And as we were cruising up, we seen this another vehicle going up, paralleling us, and Lee got out and made contact with them, and they shared Lee with what they saw, and all that ties into the place where we went to. And go ahead, Lee. Can you share with us what that guy shared with you, what he saw up there?
Yeah, I mean, pretty much that whole area, most of them are related to me somehow, some way. So, but the one that met up with this, I think he's more like my cousin. Yeah, but what he told me was that he was just wondering what we're doing up there, because he thought it was someone that's like partying and kind of making trouble back there, So, but once I mentioned my dad's name, he just kind of brushed it off and was like, "Oh, okay, well, now I know who you are." And then that's when I told him, well, I just told him that we're up here kind of looking around, and then he mentioned, or I mentioned that I hope we don't run into any skinwalkers. And then he's like, "Oh, dude," he's like, don't get me started on that." And I told him, "What happened with you? Like, what'd you see?" And that's when he's all like, he was like the week before, so like 2 weeks ago, he was up there, and he said that he was walking around where that cave is, the one that you guys looked at. And he said that there was as he was walking up to it, he's seen a person that was painted in black, white face, and he said he's seen the skin on top of it, and it just like popped out of behind one of those bushes into where the trail is, and it was just staring at him. And he said that his arm on his hair on his arm, his neck, he said it all stood up, and he froze right there. He said it felt like a long time, but he said honestly it felt like 30 seconds to a minute or so. And he said that he couldn't move, he just stared at it. And he said he had like 4 or 5 dogs with him at the time, and those dogs just turned around and took off running home. And then he said finally when he got the courage to turn away and run off, that it wasn't right there anymore. So he was saying that it's probably the person that's going up to that cave and doing all their stuff up there. That's kind of his point of view of what he told me, but it gave us more reason to go up there.
He's the one that did that sign. When we went up there, there's a symbol up there, and the sign that they use to make that symbol is used with blood. You can tell when someone uses blood and different plants and like different type of material, like even to make different paintings and all that. And you can tell, like, when you go across the reservation and you see a red handprint, different parts of the reservation, and that red handprint means that it's the person returning back from the long walk that had connections to that area ancestrally. So, just seeing that, and then you can tell from different paint pigments they use, and just being there looking at it, you can tell it's made by blood, and I don't know what type of blood, human blood, animal blood, but we showed up there. I didn't see anything, the first few seconds. I was tripping out. I didn't see anything. I was looking around. I was like, I don't see no fire. Looking at the walls, and I stopped. I was like, wait. I kind of rubbed my eyes. I looked, and sure enough, there was a red paint right in front of me. I was like, how did I not see that? I looked down, and I finally seen some charred woods, and yeah, it was just like maybe 8x4 little meetup area, and signs of it being used. And yeah, it was pretty cool being up there, and not many people do that. Not many people go to places where they gather because some things will happen to you, and I think that's what happened to us on our way back down. The story got a little more.
Yeah, it's one of the weirdest things, dealing with subject matter like this. People on the podcast, they talk about it, but they don't never, some of them never leave and check these areas out, which is kind of sad on their part, I guess. But as for us, it's just home. It's just some areas just weirder than some some others, but yeah, it's especially dealing with the subject right now. It does feel like you do go through a portal, a loop. The environment changes around you. Yeah, it's really odd. It's a really odd way to explain it, but that's the best I can do right now. Is it feels like a portal. You go through an area, you see cryptic creatures like these monsters, in dealing with witchcraft, does change the environment around itself. So, yeah, but
Oh yeah, yeah. Like after we seen that, I don't know if you felt the area shifted where we had to get off, we had to leave, and then stuff started going on, and um, before we get on to the next, or should we just finish this one and we'll let mystery person 2 continue on their story, or should we go back to mystery person 2? What do you guys think? Oh, we lost her again.
so
Oh no. Oh man. Okay, we'll just we'll let Lee okay, so we went up there to that area and Lee led us underneath probably about 100 yards away on the trail. He said to follow the trail. You're gonna pass the brushes and the trees, and there's gonna be a cave. And he gave us the description. You'll see wood there. It's being used signs, and we did. We showed up there, um, and Darren and I we did high fives. Fist bump, knuckle bump, belly bump. And then we cruised back down. Um, yeah, we showed up to the team, and one of the teammates had their body hijacked. And what happened was, I guess we had some, I think there was a skinwalker running around because Maddie, the team that was with us, he actually seen the figure running around. He said it had a loincloth and something over on top of its head and no clothes on.
yeah,
And my son there too, and he actually heard it. And Matthew said that it went up towards my son and got close to him, and it did a like a real Navajo noise, like get your attention. So my son heard that, and he looked, and he said that he seen a figure running down the hill in between the trees. And then, as we're walking down, I was in between everyone. We had the first group probably like about 30 yards ahead of me, and then the other part of the group 20 yards behind me. And I was in a dark area walking, and I heard somebody running beside me, and I yelled at Darren. I forgot my spotlight. We weren't really prepared this weekend. It was just the weekend we got back from Albuquerque magazine, doing a photo shoot for that magazine. So we kind of didn't have our gears. So, that was going on, and tension started happening, and we had one of the teammates' body hijacked, and Darren and I arrived, and we all had to assist. We put on our we all took bitter powder, and we helped the person back into herself, because when you're around places of high strange black magic witchcraft, people can be in the physical realm and in the spiritual realm. And if you have the gift, you walk in both sides of the world. You're like a messenger, you're like a conduit for these energies. And if you are open to that, then you can easily be used as a conduit, and that's what happened. So we helped the teammate out, we helped her out, and I got up and checking the area, saying, "All right, we're good, okay, we're good." And then Lee came up behind me, and he put his like his thumb right here on my side. He's like, "Don't move." And then he started going up towards my neck, and he's like, "Something's inside of you." When you guys went up there, something placed something inside of you. As soon as it goes towards your, when I tell you to spit it out, you spit it out. And I was all right. So he went all the way up towards my neck and towards my mouth, and he said, "Spit," and I spit it out. Poof, poof. I'm like, all right, it's all good. Okay, we're good now. And I was like, all right. I was gonna turn around, and my stomach, something grabbed my stomach and twisted, and I immediately dropped to my knee. I started regurgitating. I started throwing up, and my eye was like I couldn't believe what's going on. I had no control over my body. I was dry heaving like I was drinking energy drinks for 2 days. I felt like I was hungover. Something came out indeed. After a few minutes, I was good and I was a little dizzy. So, they do place things inside of you. They have that knowledge of the dark, forbidden knowledge. And, if they try to recruit you, don't do it. Don't do it. It's a trap. So if you have anything like that going on, your friends or family, please help each other out. Help each other out. Lee, do you want to kind of take us away? What happened through your lens? And then we'll go with Darren.
Yeah, I think I'll answer Codex's question. The way the person was acting is like, how would you say it? Like they weren't themselves. Like how you said, their body got hijacked. Basically, I mean, they were still the same person. They were still the same, speaking the same, but in a way, it's more of like someone like speaking for you. It's not like a demonic hijacking or anything like that. It's more just like a lot of stuff coming to you, and even if you have like some type of gift like the way I have, then it's going to be something similar to that. And how we know was because that person was trying to run away from us, and me, to be precise, that person was trying to run away from me because I grabbed their arm and they were trying to pull away. And I don't know if I got punched in the face, but the next morning I woke up with a sore jaw, and then I wrestled the person down, and then we finally, that's when you came up to help me, Don. And then remember Darren came over to help put the bitter medicine on their face and their mouth and everything. And a lot happened within like that, like 5-10 minutes or so, but it felt like a long time. Honestly, it felt like an hour or so. And I remember the thing about it, the way it kind of brings me back to it is growing up, it was like having this gift that I have right now is like that used to happen to me all the time. And it was something I would go through, I would say like on almost a weekly basis, if not maybe 3 or 4 times a month. And it's kind of weird because it gives you some type of strength or whatever it is, because it would take 5 of my family members to hold me down, and they would be like telling me it's not real, whatever is there is not there. And for me, in my case, I would see my grandmother, my dad's mom, and I would see my uncle. But the thing about it is I knew it wasn't them, but it was also something else that was using their face like a mask to kind of bring me on to the other side and kind of, in your words, kind of recruit me for something else. So that was something in my case. But what happened that night was something similar to that. But without going too much in detail and revealing the person, because they wanted to keep it private, so for their sake. So.
Yeah, it's I guess you would kind of, I guess for anybody with, that doesn't have the eyes like Lee, people, I guess people would call it possession, possessed, taken over by another entity, I guess you would say. But as for me, I was there. I wasn't that far from the incident, that was going on. As for me, it was just because I heard it, I seen this possession thing, I seen it happen before, but I could tell you this, that the screaming was just like the screaming that I heard out here at the tent revival. And, it's something, it's a different tone, it's a weird energy that it gives off. It's almost like it shakes the body, I guess, rattles the soul, I guess you would say, because that's exactly how I thought about it too. And I had my back turned, I was looking around the area, and you can just hear the screaming and wailing, and it just brought like it just brought the chills, and you could just feel the. For me, I just felt that sorrow. Like, oh man, like this. It was this. It was a sad moment, I guess you would say. But you see it once, a couple times. I don't know if it helps or just lets you understand a bit more about the subject. So, but all I can tell you guys is, is very much real. This is it's a real part that people don't talk about, not even in the Christian faith, not too much. So on that note, be careful, especially if you're gonna go into areas of weirdness, strangeness. Be prepared, mentally, physically, and spiritually. So, saying that, we'll go ahead and continue on the subject. But we're here. We made it out, and later on, everybody talked about it. Everybody talked about what happened. And everybody was checking on each other. Because that's the way, that's the way it should be. But as for everybody, everybody was tired. I know.
Rained.
Yeah, the next day I got back, and I slept for like 12 hours, 13 hours, and I woke up, and I felt tired too. Still, I felt like a bad hangover, and that lasts all day, and that's what happens. I don't know if it's because of what we went through or the energy that was around us, but yeah, that's one topic that people don't really mention in all these paranormal podcast stuff too. So might as well put light on the subject.
Oh yeah. Before we turn the light on that, I'd like to share a little bit of it. With my side, growing up, half my family's Christian and the other half is traditional, and I would see the same similar things plaguing both sides of positions and dark spirits trying to communicate with one certain person, including I myself. Just walking down the highway, or walking down the dirt road with somebody, that you think it's okay to walk out there with, and you wake up with family asking you, why are you walking around at 2 or 3 in the morning? That used to happen to me a lot as well. It really bad. And, I myself been possessed a few times, and being a victim of that, it's not nice, it's not pretty because you don't really have control over yourself, and not including the drunken nights, where you get blacked out drunk and you're still moving around, you're still talking, and you wake up the next day and you don't know what happened, you don't know what you did, you don't know what you said, you lost your keys, you pissed yourself, you got stabbed, you wake up with that, you're like, what the hell did I do? And the spirit realm is very real, and I always felt like being on the Navajo Nation that the spirit realm is more active. The veil is thinner everywhere you go from top to bottom, and just being there at home, it's just one of the things that we're all used to, from the tent revivals to a ceremony in a hogan. There's strange things that come around, and there's dark negative spirit entities that feed off of negativity, that feed off of alcohol, drugs, womanizing, and gossiping. Like, what's going around out there? When you really want to search for the truth and want to present the truth and share the truth, you're going to have a target on your back, whether it be from witchcraft or from somebody that just don't like you. We all can't make people like us, but what we can do here is all coexist with each other and just love each other. That's the best thing we can do right now. And, after all that went down, I had to drive back from Gallup, New Mexico to St. George, Utah. And all the way along, processing everything, thinking about everything. And there's more to it than what happened. During the live episode, the other teammate came to us and told us, she drew on a picture saying, here's an owl and here's a demonic being. And when we went up there, we saw an owl or a whippoorwill creature underneath the bush, just hanging out, chilling, not even moving, didn't even care what we were doing. And then the demonic activity picked up. So, I'm still thinking about everything, still, processing it. And we did check on everyone. We checked on each other, and we're still doing that to this day. And, we're all being brothers and sisters together. And, I encourage all of you out there, your community, look after each other, look after each other, check on one another. And that's one of the things that we're taught as Navajo. Check on one another, your spirit, your whatever your mental is, whatever you're thinking and whatever's in your heart. Let it out. Share with one another.
Oh yeah.
I digress.
Yeah, and also there's the owl too. We did look at it. Pretty damn good too. And I got about a foot away from it, and I couldn't describe what it was. I didn't know what it was, tell you the truth. All I knew is it was something. It looked like, I was telling these guys, like, it looked like a lizard. It looked like a lizard. It was gray, black, white, and it was just sitting there. It didn't move. Didn't even care that I was walking up to it. Just being a human. We're naturally cursed with not having animals come up to us, like that. Or when we walk up it, they flee away from us. So that was really odd. Weird in nature for the whatever that thing was. But it did look like a lizard, man. I swear, I don't know how to describe it besides that. But good thing is, this is all going to be on a Patreon, and we're working on that. So you guys will see a little bit more of everything that we went through. So stay tuned,
Oh yeah, we got more Skinwalker caves to hit up. Ain't that right, guys?
Yeah.
So, it's the first of many. Oh yeah. But yeah. Is there anything else you want to share there? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. I got excited there too. Like, oh man, we got so many places to check out.
I know, right?
And we'll definitely have some more medicine, whether it be cedar ash, that ash water drink. We do pray when we go out, before and after we enter and exit the vehicle, in our doors to our house. So prayer is very much key for us as a team, because we are not ignorant to the spirit realm. And we are not ignorant to the spirit beings that walk around in the dark. There's things that walk around out there that many people won't understand but us here on the Navajo land. MP2, are you there? Do you have great signal?
I have great signal. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, ma'am. Could you go back to where you guys visited Medicine Man, and where your family member shot that skinwalker, and where that Medicine Man told you in 4 days, remember where you shot that person, that part. But before we go on, let's answer a question here real quick. I started a question here from BCast. He had a great question. BCast 33. What's with the significance of 4 days? I've heard about burying the dead in 4 days, or knowing the enemy in 4 days after practice. So one of the things I can start off. So 4 days. So people that don't know out there, when your family member dies, if you're a Navajo, if that person is Navajo, each tribe is different. But for us, when someone dies, your family member, you're supposed to get them in the grave, get them in the earth before the 4th day or on the 4th day. But if it's longer than the 4th day, that person is going to be here amongst us still and cause hauntings. And for us Navajos, we're supposed to not keep our ghosts. We're not supposed to keep our relatives. We're supposed to let them carry on to the next world. And we're supposed to move on with our life. And when we remember our loved ones, and when we cry for our loved ones that went on before us, we're keeping them from going on to the next journey of life, to the next world. We're keeping them here. We're bringing them back to us, and that's not right. That's not natural. No offense to anybody out there. Whatever you guys believe, that's what you believe. I'm not trying to judge you guys, but this is what some of the Navajo teachings that's been taught to us. And for us, ghosts, we call them chidi, chidis. The ghosts, the evil entities, the chidis. That's what we call them traditionally. And 4 days after knowing the enemy is more like the enemy way. Whenever a Navajo warrior goes into battle, he takes a life. He can't go home right away. He has to go with the other warriors and the medicine men. They have to go through days of ceremonies, which can stretch to 13 days to 30 days, depending on how bad that warrior experienced PTSD from taking life. And when that warrior is okay, he's allowed to go home to his loved ones, and he's not going to bring that enemy that he killed in battle with him to uh affect his household. So there's that's one of the ways that I know. But Lee, Darren, you guys got anything you want to share on that?
Oh no, I think you about said it all right there, buddy, from my side. But yeah, that's pretty much said it. You pretty much said it, man. So
Yeah. What about you, Lee, before we move on?
I mean, the story varies from which part of the reservation you come from. I mean, my side is it's something similar, but something different as well. But that's a whole separate story on its own. So I think I'll let mystery person kind of finish up their story as well.
all right. So I hope that got some information to drop on that topic. So and
yeah. And then oh, sorry, Darren. Sorry, Darren. 1 second. I didn't mean to cut you off. But for everyone out there, what Lee was saying, the Navajo Nation is large, right? So Lee's like in Gallup area, and I'm like in Minot Valley area. Darren's in Pine Hill area. We're all Navajos, but we're all mixed. There's more to us. Like Lee's Lee's area, he's more around the Zuni and the different Pueblos. Same thing with Darren, and in my area, I'm around more of the Paiutes and the Ute, and I do have heritage Ute, and so does Lee, and all of us. We all have heritage from multiple tribes, but we all come under one umbrella, which is Navajo Dene. So that's just FYI for all you guys out there. Go ahead, Darren. Sorry.
Oh no, I said it all. But yeah, if you guys got any questions, give us let us know, and we'll give you an answer on it. But yeah, there's a lot of movement on the chat right now, which is really good.
Oh yeah, we'll get to you guys when we can. Mystery person, do you want to continue with your story, please? Thank you.
Yeah. Testing 1 2 3. Mic check 1. Mic check 2.
Check 2.
Camera 1, camera 2, camera 1. No, just kidding. Go ahead.
Is number 1 better? Number 2 better? Okay, so you said to go back to what the medicine man said. Okay, so the medicine man said, hey, in 4 days you'll figure out who it is. Just remember where you shot the thing. And my aunt, my uncle are like, okay, so shot in the arm and the leg. I'm like, all right, cool. 4 days later, down the hill, our neighbor fell down 3 stairs on her little 3-stair porch. So it's about, I don't know, 12 inches. And she happened to break her upper thigh and break her arm, where we shot everything. And she stopped talking to us, and she kind of told us to, fuck off and all this stuff. And we were like, what did we do? We didn't do anything. And come to find out, she was doing stuff, and she ended up hurting herself. So, ooh, is there weird feedback? You guys hear me?
Yeah. But to let the audience know that these skinwalkers, they're dark practitioners of evil work. But to also let you know is they're also human beings. And in this note, they are able to take damage. It's not an uncommon event to have someone shoot at him, and then the next day you hear a story like, oh yeah, he fell on a stick or something, you know. So it's not uncommon, you know, but just the explanation on how they got hurt is usually an accident, you know. So
Yeah.
oh,
Sorry.
Yep.
yeah.
Go ahead.
So a few weeks after that, we got visited by a quote unquote bear. I say quote unquote bear because I don't think it was a bear. It's probably a skinwalker. But this bear came around one night, and I was just a little shit running around and being rambunctious and everything. And we saw this bear, and we all got scared. Me and my cousins, we all huddled up in the living room, where my great grandma was, and she was just sitting with us, saying a protection prayer, telling us it's gonna be okay. And this bear was pretty smart because it tried opening up the screen door and the front door, turning the knob with its big bear claw, and it tried to pop open the screen on one of our bedroom windows, and try to crawl through the window, but it couldn't slide the window open because we used to put sticks, in front of the window so it doesn't slide back. And so the next morning, went away and we all fell asleep in the living room. And I ran out to the outhouse. If you grew up with no water, you know what I mean by the outhouse. Went to the restroom, and I noticed these tracks outside in front of the door, in front of the window. And it was some boot prints, some work boot prints where the bear was. And around it, you could just see something dragging with it. So this bear was so stylish, it was wearing boots. And then I came back from I came back from the restroom, and I noticed this bag underneath the window where it was trying to crawl through. And this bag was like a big black trash bag, and then it had a tarp inside of it. And I didn't know what it was, so I was like, "Hey, there's something out here." First thing, my uncle ran out, and he was like, "What?" Everybody ran out. They're like, "What? What are you talking about?" And I pointed it out. And my uncle opened up the bag, and he just kind of backed up. He's like, "Shit." And then right when he opened that, you could just smell it. The smell of something rotten and fleshy and just this death kind of smell. And we all gagged and everything. And they opened the bag more, and they're like, "You need to call the medicine man." So my aunt went back to go call the medicine man. He was on his way. Us little kids being nosy, we kind of like peeked over, looked at it, and trigger warning to some of you guys out there, but in this little bag, there was 2 dead rattlesnakes. They were wrapped up in something. There were some bones, some skulls, some animals, and again, trigger warning. There was a skeleton in there of a fetus, and there's little pouches and all these other things inside of it, and there's hair. Ugh. And I just want to say skin or whatever. There was something else in there. And so the medicine man came, he threw a bunch of herbs and threw a bunch of stuff on it. He told us to build a fire, and that's what we did. And then chased all of us little shits away from the hogan. And he took that thing over there and he threw it in there. And as soon as he threw it in there, that whole fire just started sparking up. Like somebody threw fireworks in there and it was just going. And then you could just, like, the smoke that was coming off of it was like really yellow and green and black. It was just mixed up. And I'm like, I swear, like, I can remember it felt like something was screaming the whole time that it was burning. And then a couple days later, same person who fell down her 3 little stairs, she ended up passing away. And her kids started getting sick. And then her mom got sick. And so they blamed us, saying that we were doing something to them, that something came in the middle of the night, and we did something against them. And we're like, the only thing we did was burn a bundle and do a protection prayer. What did you do? That's what my great grandma told them. And for years, I don't know if they still talk because I haven't been back home in a long time, but that family just kind of stopped talking to us and helping us, and vice versa. And so that's one of the SW encounters I remember and I still carry with me because growing up, like you would think that these things would never happen. So when people talk about, oh, this is my skinwalker story, I'm like, okay, cool. And they're like, what about you? Have you ever experienced something like that? And I would tell them, and then they would visibly see these goosebumps on me because that was like one of the most scariest moments in my life. Hearing that dog talk, seeing it crawl out of the vehicle, hearing it talk, like a person, and just seeing that bundle with everything inside of it. Growing up, I've heard all these stories like, you don't do this, you don't do that, you don't walk around at night. That's the time for the, the children of the night and everything. And I'm like, oh, okay. But I think I've gotten to a point where I'm no longer scared of what's in the dark, because I've seen this in the daytime and in the evening. So it doesn't really affect me anymore. I don't know if it does. But yeah, so those are my skinwalker stories.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Nice. So,
There's nothing like a. Sorry, go ahead there. Go ahead.
So why do you think out of everything it turned into a little dog? Out of like a little ankle biter. Like what? Why do you think it would do that? Because what you're saying, it turned into it was the size of a cow, and then it turns into a little dog. Ain't that a little? It's weird, huh? It was the first time I heard that too. So, huh?
Nothing like
I think it's because I've had the little tiny dogs around me so much. I've had two
might as well.
chihuahuas, and then like blending in.
Oh, just might have turned into whatever's around you, huh? And also, when they put it it was alive, right? When it was in a bucket, huh?
I think it passed up in the pain, but it was unconscious at that point.
Oh, okay. Well, what color was the skin? What color was it? Did it have weird ears? Like, you gotta break it down. And also, oh man, what was I gonna say? And it wasn't overweight. It had just the same weight as a dog, huh? It didn't weigh like 180 pounds. Like you would think like a human being would. So,
oh, okay. So, you're gonna take me back there, Darren.
Oh, I'm sorry.
So this dog. No, this is. Oh, was somebody saying something? Sorry.
No, go ahead.
Oh, so this dog. Closing my eyes. This was.
Oh, are we losing her? Oh.
Really broad, like it's like a big shoulders, small little head, and then the arms, the elbows were turned outward, and the hands were.
Mystery person, I think you're going in and out again. I think.
Well,
mystery person, hello.
MP2.
Hello.
Huh. Yeah.
Hello. Yeah. I guess something didn't want her to finish that story. I was gonna say it's nothing like there's nothing like a little a nice warm new skinwalker story, ain't it? I mean, like all that was just
it ain't nothing like a little childhood trauma, man, just to start life. So
I know.
But yeah,
just takes us all back.
I know how terrifying, a bunch of little kids. And then in the background you have grandma in the back. She's the unclaimed hero on the Navajo Nation, I swear. So it doesn't surprise me for her to get a shotgun and go at it herself. So
yeah,
how amazing, man.
Person. Yeah, for real. Jeez, all the grandmas are always gangsters. You notice that? Oh, we lost you, mystery person. Darren, do you remember exactly where she started cutting out?
Broad shoulders and small head.
having trouble connect. This is often caused by unstable internet connection. I parked in front of my house.
Oh. Can you hear us
Oh,
though?
can you guys hear me? Sorry.
Yeah, we can hear you.
It's crashing out in front of my house.
And also MP2.
Riz.
Did this
That's the Riz.
did it have eye shine? You know, did this thing have eye shine like a you know, like an animal?
No, it didn't.
Hmm.
Because I was the one holding the flashlight.
Wow. Yeah,
And I was
that's
looking directly at it.
you know, that's something not too uncommon either. I do remember some relatives telling me about them coming across this a skinwalker that was in the form of a sheep. So hey, and this thing didn't have eye shine either. So
Oh yeah.
MP2, you
Are
still
you
there?
there, Mr.? I got my cat right here. Yeah, we can hear you now. Can you hear us?
Okay. Yes, I can hear you. So from what I remember, because Darren's bringing me back to 1997. I'm just kidding. I shined the light on them. I shined the light on the face. And it was like human eyes looking right back at me. Big brown eyes with white, you know, like how how our eyes looked. And, you know, it was a small head and it was big, broad shoulders. The elbows were sticking out. The paws were kind of inward and tucked underneath them. And when it crawled towards us, it was kind of like swaying back and forth because the back legs, they weren't working. They were just really long legs just dragging behind this big, broad shoulder, tiny head little creature. And the way it talked, it was like growling, it was in the midst of a growl and a gurgle, and it sounded like somebody talking from the back part of their throat. And it was crawling towards us, crawled up the stairs, and somehow with its deformed arms and legs, it was banging on the screen door when we all ran inside.
Wow. And it was just the size of a dog. Did this thing go in a 5-gallon bucket, 10-gallon bucket? You know, just your common Home Depot.
It was just your common bluebird flower bucket. You know, they just grabbed it and stuffed it in there.
Dang. Man, you know, how terrifying to have all this to happen to you know, the kids there, to the youth, man. It's creepy, but you know, it's just life, I guess you would call it, out here on the reservation. So, yee.
MP2, I have a question for you. When you see a spirit, what is the first thing you notice? Their face, or energy, emotions, or something else?
When I see a spirit, the first thing I notice is them looking at me, and they're like, "Oh shoot, you can see me!" And I'm like, "Oh man."
Oh, do they have
yeah.
that look like you know, that stupid face look, like, or like you've seen someone, but you can't really tell where you seen them from, type deal? Or?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So, I know the look then. Nice.
So it was at my house. I have my house. There's like, I don't have a back door per se, so I have a door that's on the side of my house, and then I have a front door. And it's kind of weird because like it's kind of like in the same direction, so I don't really per se have a back door. So my side door, there's a gate that goes like a fencing that goes all around my house. And by the side door, there's a gate. And I was leaving back to work for lunch, and no, I was coming back in. Sorry. No, what was it? What? I'm trying to remember. It's like I can't remember now. I was leaving, yes. So I opened the door and I looked to my backyard to my left, and then I quickly like walked towards my vehicle, and I stopped and I was like, wait, did I just see that? And then I turned around, and what I had saw was this old man, and he was covered in like, you know, a blue overalls, and he had, you know, these the 70s, really big square glasses. And he was an older guy. Then he had a white shirt, and one of those chains underneath it. And he was wearing a ball cap, and he had a bucket. And inside his bucket was a hammer, a couple other things. And he was holding a paintbrush. And he stopped and he looked right at me. And then I looked at him and then I just turned around. And then when I got into my vehicle, I looked back over there and he was gone. And I was like, oh, he saw me. He saw me see him. Now he knows I can see him. But ever since then, I haven't seen anything.
Oh.
But
So do these spirits, do they come to you and ask you for help? Like ghosts, how they say it. The main character goes to Whoopi Goldberg, does that ever happen to you? Not to, make fun of it, but I'm kind of curious myself.
when I was younger, some of them would, because I think they knew that I had that naiveness to want to help them. And as I grew older, I've kind of realized that I can't really help them at all, because they're gonna affect me, and if I can't help them, then we're both shit out of luck. But some of them, especially where I work, apparently there's a lot of energy there, and there's spirits there where I work, and there's two of them that will kind of come up and like peek into my office, and then I'll see them and I'm just like, ugh. And then they'll come around, they'll sit next to me, and they'll be like, I know you can see me. I'm just like typing away. And then they'll just kind of like move something, and I'm like, oh. And then it got so much to the point where, they were kind of throwing some of the books I had on my shelf. And then I kind of got mad. I'm like, if you don't pick that book up, I swear, I'm going to throw it through you. And then they're like, oh, okay. Then they just walked off. And they're just like, okay, sorry, fine, whatever. And I'm just like,
And also, do they just pop out of nowhere, or do they like slowly walk up to you, or you just wake up and have someone staring at you while you're using the restroom or something?
Oh, geez. I hope they don't do that, but no. Some of the ones I've seen, it's just kind of like they're just there, like they look like they're part of everything, and then I start to notice them when like they look directly at me, and they're like, oh, that person can see me, and I'm like, oh, okay. It's kind of like that, hey you, I know you kind of look, and you're just like, oh.
and like, do they follow you around, or do they just stay in one area all the time? Like Beetlejuice, pretty much, they're just condemned to a house. They can't go outside, or like, how does this work? How does that work for you?
I think only once I've had one kind of tag along with me from Red Mesa, Utah, all the way to Farmington and back.
Wow.
Yikes.
For yeah.
That spot when you're going down to Red Mesa, that big hill, a lot of people lost their lives right there. And I've heard tons of stories right there of like a centaur to people hitchhiking right there and hearing spirits calling their name and even dragging them underneath there's like a little culvert underneath that road right there where people can pass, and there's all kinds of bad stories right there. And whoever's driving there at night, sometimes they'll see a lady in a white dress or a black dress at the bottom. So I mean, the stories, there's more stories that's not coming to mind right now, but that part, I really do believe it. So I think what you saw is probably one of those spirits catching a ride right there. Hey, Lee, do you have any questions for Mystery Person 2? Or you want to add anything?
What's up? You got your questions?
Not really, no questions. It's just kind of sharing my experiences from seeing people that passed on. The way I normally see them is I kind of look at their intentions, whether they have bad intentions or good intentions, really, because that's how I kind of really look for. Other than that, it's just them they kind of look at me like the same thing, like, hey, you actually see me? And to me, they just look like normal people to me. Like whenever I'm like walking around in Walmart, I pretty much see them as well.
Wait, whoa, man. Well, that sucks. Hey, do they have shadows too? Do they cast shadows or?
No. I
For
don't think they
me,
do.
they're more transparent. You can
Oh,
see their figure, but they're kind of transparent in a way.
Oh, okay. Man, that must suck. You can't even go into Walmart now, huh? But then again, hey, scallop. So,
Crazy Coyote says, MP2, you're like a real life anime pro tag. Mikuru clan. I don't know if you guys
Shakira-chan?
know that.
yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what that reference is, but I thought that was funny.
Also,
I have a question for you, mystery person. Let me find my notes real quick. I like to write down some notes. Uh, let's see here. Do spirits ever appear the way they look when they were alive? Because from my experience, so far I came across a lady that's dressed in the like a blue jeans, blue jacket, and a blue like from the 80s, just from the 80s, and one of the ones that I seen here was a kid that was dressed all the way back from the ancient times, way ancient, like one of the things it told me was from the Ice Age era. So I'm wondering how is it for you?
Yeah. However they were just alive. That's how I seen them. I know I had a conversation with one, and she was pretty upset. She's like, I hated this outfit growing up, and this is what they decided to put on me when they decided to bury me. And I'm like,
Oh snap!
I'm
Huh.
sorry.
Wow.
And then
Ain't that a funny thing? You died and you kind of ticked off that they buried you in an outfit that you and then it's just like a forever grudge, I guess you would say. That sucks.
there was this one lady I remember growing up at the post office, the trading post in the post office in Greasewood, Arizona, and they used to have those old-fashioned pumps across from the trading post next to where they used to put the hay barn. I don't know if anybody knows where I'm talking about, but I was sitting there waiting for my Nellies to finish their business at a trading post, and this girl came by and she sat by me, and she just started talking as if like she didn't think I could hear her or see her, and my back was to her and I could hear her talking. And then she was just talking about what I was wearing, and she's wondering like how I'm going out through life and everything. And like I knew not to talk to them, because my Nelly man would say, don't talk to them, because once they know that you can see them, sometimes they won't leave you alone. But I felt bad for her, so I just kind of stood up, and then she's like, oh, you're just gonna leave, you're not gonna let me finish, nobody ever lets me finish. I turned towards her and I looked at her and I said, I'm sorry. Like, I'm sorry that you're still here. I'm sorry that you can't go. I don't know what's keeping you here, but I hope you find that. And she just started crying. And I've never seen a spirit cry before, but the way it felt, it was like this strong amount of sadness just washing over me. And like I started crying and I was just standing there, and she's like, you can see me? And I said, yes, I can see you. And she was like, do you know what happened to me? And I was like, no, I don't. And then she's like, let me show you. And I was like, don't. And I pulled away from her, and she was like, they just left me there. And I'm like, I'm sorry. And she was dressed up in black pair of jeans and some chucks, and her shirt was kind of torn, and from the corner of her eye down to her like her neck was this big cut down her face. And she had bruises all over her body, and her hair was kind of messy and looked like it was being pulled around. And she's like, they just left me here. And I said, I don't usually help you, but what can I do? And she's like, I don't know. She's like, I want them to find me. And then I just told her, I was like, Pam, they'll find you. And sure enough, a couple of years later, one of my cousins said, "Hey, there's this girl that went missing. She got kidnapped, and they found her, a couple of miles and on that top of the mesa. There was a well back there, and they found part of her over there." It
Oh,
was
man.
it was sad, and I kind of like that sadness washed over me again, and like I just kind of felt relief again, and I was just like, okay, like for me, I felt like that was her telling me like, hey, I'm not here anymore. I'm moving on, and like I think that's one of the spirits that I remember a lot more than all the other ones, all the other nosy ones, the ones watching me from the restroom. That was a joke, Darren.
Yeah.
Yeah. We all get stage fright when we have to go do our business, So we have to just be like, we saw, then let go.
Yeah, just
Go ahead, Darren.
just trying to give ask questions for just the curiosity, for people too, that don't have these gifts, So that's the best way I can put it. So, yeah, and personally, just asking for myself also, which is a good thing for myself. Learn by asking questions.
This question that I got can go for Lee and Mystery Person too, because you two are both gifted as well. This goes to you guys right here. Well, actually, it's 4 questions, so you guys can answer them in any order you want. You can ask me to re-ask this question again. I got it done right here. It says, have you ever learned something about death that changed your view of life? And what is the saddest message a spirit has ever shared with you? And have you ever helped the spirit moved on? And is there a spirit you still think about years later?
All right, it's a handful right there, buddy.
Elder medicine. Air cloth.
I'll
Thank
let Mr. Lee go first.
you. Okay.
Shit.
You can
What
ask
was the
me
questions again?
Okay. All right. Stage fright. There you go. There you go.
One at a time.
Stage
One at a
fright.
time.
Okay. I thought I'd ask all these so you guys can ponder it. So, all right. Shooting off right here. Have you ever learned something about death that changed your view of life?
That is, we cannot escape it. Whether we try to prolong it, whatever we can do our best, if it's our time, it's our time. And that's something that we shouldn't be scared of. That's
Exactly.
what I learned from it.
Yeah,
Yep, exactly.
Word.
Yep. And what is the saddest message a spirit has ever shared with you? There's a lot
Does
of
it matter? Does it matter if it's family related or anybody in particular?
You can answer any way you want. You don't have to give too much. We don't. If you cry here, Darren's gonna have to cry with you. Then I'll jump in. We'll all cry together.
Okay, so from the ones I encountered, they kind of just talk to me and just like kind of let me know what's going on, like in the area, kind of thing. But if I can narrow it down to the saddest message, it will be my uncle. And this happened 6 years ago. And my uncle went missing for 31 days. And it wasn't until the morning of we found him. He came to me in my dream. And he was there to tell me to not hold on to him. And that it's okay to let go. And he told me that take care of my family, take care of them any way I can, anyhow I can do it. He told me to take care of them, especially my grandmother, which was his mom, because she was going through a pretty rough part of her life with dementia. So she didn't realize he was gone, but she knew he was gone, and if that makes sense. But yeah, he came to me in my dream, and inside of my dream, he was a white light, and I can hear his voice talking to me directly, but I couldn't see him. And then from that moment on, when the whole thing was over, he just said his goodbye, and I woke up crying. So that's like the saddest message I got.
Wow.
Yeah. Condolences, brother. Condolences.
Thank you.
Yeah. You know, that's one of the things I always expect, you know, after a family member leaves, or even before a family member goes, you know, I get messages, and before a family member leaves, you know, I don't really know who exactly it is, but I would see their parents or their uncles or their immediate little family group. That's how I would know that someone from that family is leaving. And after it happens, you know, I think that's one of the saddest things that you have to live with too. You know, like, you know, something's going to happen. There's no way you can stop it. Like you said on that first question, you know, all our expiration dates coming. There's nothing we can do to stop it. But as long as we're here, you know, we can all work for the better of humanity, you know, and educating everyone out there about who we are, our people, where we come from. And just as long as we share the knowledge out there, I think that's one of the best things we can do. And Darren, you want to add anything to that before we jump on to the next question?
Yeah, that it's just a fact of life. You know, with life comes death, and I think death, you know, it has its own knowledge, and if you listen to it, it'll teach you, you know, what life's about. So at that end, you know, even death is a teacher. Some see it earlier, and you know, and some embrace it at the end. So it's just a fact of life, and we just all gotta, you know, accept it. And you know, I think it's just the not knowing part that scares people, and you know, I would understand. So, yeah. Let's get on with the next question, there, buddy.
Well, yeah. Shout out to Elder Medicine Bear Claw. Thank you very much for the tip. Whenever you're ready, Elder Bear Medicine Claw, Darren and I and Lee would love to be on your show whenever you're ready. Please reach out to us. We like to collaborate. Chickmuck44, hello everyone. What's up, Chickmuck? Before I go on to my question, let's read if anyone has a question here on the chat real quick. Stage fright. Oh yeah, Lee got stage fright. He's like, what? I'm just kidding.
No, just too many questions at once.
I know, right? Gotta keep you on your
He
toes.
said, huh?
Okay. All right. Let's see here. Have you ever helped the spirit move on?
No, that's something I don't do because my gift only limits me to certain things. I mean, to that extent. If I don't know, for whatever reason they're holding on to that specific area, then they're meant to stay there. That's kind of how it was like told to me, so I just leave it to that. And if I help them cross over, it's kind of like interfering with them in the third world, I guess, in our tradition. And that's not something I'm supposed to do. Just like if I were to visit the area where we found my uncle at, and if I see him there, I can't do anything about it. I can't bring him away from the area. So even to that extent, I can't do anything about it.
Oh man. That's pretty sad, dude. Yeah. But you know, the lesson is pretty just point blank, you know. So
you don't touch it.
Yep.
Yeah, that's how we're all taught as well. That's one of the things we all can correlate with the teachings on that. Okay. What do you think the spirits want humans to understand?
That they're around us.
All the listeners out there. Yep.
I mean,
yep.
I can't speak for like the demonic spirits or anything like that, but if it's just the normal spirits that are here, they just kind of like just want to be known. They just want to be just like us, because at one point they were us, and they don't want us to be scared of them. They don't want us to be afraid. So they just kind of give us little signs here and there showing that they're here. whether that's making noise in your room, making noise in your kitchen, whatever it is. Just like one of my experiences is that there's a little girl that is in here in my apartment, and she pops up here and there, and she follows me around, kind of like looking up to me in some type of way. But I know she's just there. I know she. Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. I was gonna say that's that little girl you were telling me about, huh? When we slept at your place.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if anybody's seen anything, but yeah. There's like one time where with my son has this little piano that my dad bought for him, and I was in the living room and it started playing, and then I started asking questions, and I asked, press once if you're a boy and press 2 if you're a girl or something like that, and then I pressed it twice, and then it was like, okay, I know who you are now, and then I started asking more questions about it, and to me, I didn't feel no bad intentions from it, so. But it doesn't help that I can see them.
So,
yeah.
What's your take on like a Ouija board and stuff like that, to communicating with the spirits in that manner?
That's gonna be hard for me to answer because, like I said, I can see them and I can talk to them myself, but in that kind of regard, that kind of perspective, I guess. Doing it like that, you're not going to know who you're going to talk to, whether that's a normal spirit or a demonic spirit, So you're just basically opening its own doorway in some type of way to lead anything into it. So.
Yeah. True that, man. The reason why I asked that is, you always hear these stories of people using, Ouija boards, and they attract, unknown entities around them. So, everybody has a story. I think even Don has a couple of them. I do. So, yeah, I think that's one of the bad part is you don't know who you're talking to. So, or what you're talking to, natural or unnatural.
Oh yeah. I was telling Lee some of the things that I was experiencing. I had a moment where I was experiencing all kinds of things, especially communicating with spirits and seeing spirits, and I accidentally told them to come, follow me. I can help you guys out because they were lost, asking for help. And I told Lee, dude, don't do that. And I stopped, and the visitation stopped. So, thanks for that, Lee. Because I don't know what the heck was I getting myself into. But there,
I got another question, Lee. When you is there a language barrier when you communicate with or with the dead, or is there communication barrier between like the spirit world? Does everybody understand, or do they all speak like Apache or German? Or how does that work?
So for me, I haven't run into any type of spirits like that per se. So it's just mainly around here on the res. I don't travel a lot. So, but if anything, it's more of speaking Navajo, because when I'm speaking from like this reality, from me to you, I can't speak good Navajo per se, but in my head when I'm talking to them, I'm fluent, so they understand me and I understand them. Even when things are being told to me when I'm helping patients, it's told to me in Navajo, and it's up to me to translate it to English, and it's very hard because certain type of words they use the old language, not the current language from what we have today, but it's the old Navajo that we don't really have and understand to this day. That's kind of how it is to me.
Oh, okay.
And all that goes back to all the Yebiche sightings that that a lot of us are experiencing across the Navajo Nation, getting visited from dreams to even seeing impersonations, full body impersonations. I know, like, one of the things that they share is that when they speak to you, it's like a deep voice, and it's like old Navajo, and when you hear it, you can understand it. I mean, like like one of the TikTok lives where we had a guy from Canada. He is Athabascan, and he was speaking his language, and we all just like froze, and we can understand what he's saying. Like it's like an old language, you know what I mean? Like we kind of understand in a way. So I understand what you mean. That's pretty cool. That's pretty awesome. um, I have another question here. Sorry, I lost it here. Have you ever like any situation where it had you think like, I shouldn't be seeing this, or like why did I see this? Like makes you think about everything.
So
So
that
you had
kind
a few
of
stories.
goes with what I was gonna bring up about this whole thing, all these questions, is that I can foresee, or I'm told when someone's going to pass away. I mean, it doesn't give me the exact time or date, but it tells me like ahead of time, and it's something for me to brace for. I mean, some of my closest family members that I lost within the past 6 years, I've all known about it. And even to this day, it's like I'm even told that I don't have much longer with my parents. So it's like that's something I don't want to hear. That's something I don't want to know, especially coming down to that very last thing that they tell me is like, I don't want to know something about that. I mean, I'm trying to make as much time with them as I can, but how much longer do I have with them? So it's like conflicting with my tradition on that point, and it's something I don't want to know, and something I don't want to hear from them. But I mean, we can't really choose what we believe in, and we can't choose what we are told. So that's the tough part for me.
Oh yeah, for sure. How about has there ever been a time where you were afraid to go to sleep because of what you saw and experienced?
When I first astral projected, that was like the first time I really got scared, because I got stuck in that what I like to call the void, because it's like just like a black empty space. And that's where I normally see the people walking around, and whether they're people that passed on, or if they're people that are trapped in there. And that's something I don't like, and that's what scared me the most when I first started figuring out what I have. And up to right now, it still kind of scares me, because sometimes I don't know if I can come out of it, or if I have to be pulled out of it. And sometimes if I dream, I get pulled into it.
Yeah. So that's just that just comes with the cards, huh? Just happens anytime.
Yeah, just like the last time I did it was I think maybe about a month ago. I remember I was sleeping, and I just like kind of floated, like I sat up in the bed, and I turned around, and I see myself laying there. I got out of the bed, and I started walking around here in my apartment, and I remember seeing this because we have this patio door, and I remember seeing this person that looked like someone from a Pueblo. I don't know what tribe or anything, but they were just standing right there. And then I remember I walked up to them, and I told them like, "Hey, what the hell are you doing here? Like, you're not from this area." I mean, I said a lot of stuff to them, and they just kept looking at me like, "You have no power here. You have no control here, and we can take you whenever we want to." And to be honest, I felt like they almost did, but that's when I woke up.
Damn. Yikes. Sounds like a trap.
Was there any proof? Was there any evidence? Did you ever go to the spot that this being was? Because I know I believe I did the same thing too. I like crashed out on the couch, and I floated up, and I got to the ceiling, and I looked on top of the entertainment stand, and there was a remote up there, and I was like, huh. Then I don't know how, I just kind of floated back down, and I went up there to go check to see if that remote was up there, and sure enough, there was a remote, and I had no knowledge of that either too. It's kind of it's really weird. It's really odd experience, But these things leave any footprints or anything in the area?
No, not in the physical aspect, but I don't know if I manifest it. I don't know if I brought it here, to be honest, because I remember I sent this screenshot to Don during that time, but as I was falling asleep prior to that whole thing, I guess somehow I screenshotted the image of Pueblos
Flow
on
dance.
Facebook.
Mm.
Yeah,
This is
Pueblo
Buffalo
dance, and
dance. It was on TikTok.
No, it was on Facebook.
Oh, okay.
I screenshot it, and I don't know if you have a Samsung, but you had to press the power button and the volume down button at the same time. And I don't know how that's possible to do it if you're half asleep, And I remember I said I woke up the next morning and I had that screenshot still open on my phone, and then that's the same night that I basically astral projected and seen that person at my patio door.
Wow. And also, how close is the spiritual world? How close is that, or is it to this reality? Or is there a huge gap, or is it just something real thin that you just need to sit there and meditate? And just how does that work for you?
I don't know if you remember that scene in Avengers Endgame. You know how they're showing the timelines with the Infinity Stones and stuff like that. How they're going side by side. It's like that. It's like a very, very thin line that exists between us. It's kind of like a mirror in a way, the way how I see it. And I mean, if I wanted to, I can actually do it right now. But then again, I don't know who's going to pull me back in. So that's something that I'm like cautious on.
Oh, okay. Well, maybe next time. But wow, a lot of knowledge, drop right here. So, Kitten was MP2. You still there?
Yes, I am.
So, you got any words out there?
Words out here?
Yeah, you got words for the audience?
Oh, so I guess, stay aware of your surroundings. Don't get scared, because whatever bad entities are out there, you give them more of the power when you're scared. I don't know if Dawn wanted me to answer those questions as well.
Oh yeah. The questions go for both of y'all, but go for it. Whenever you're ready, you can answer them.
Just like Mr. Lee here. It's a lot of questions.
Right. Well, we can always set a next one up for you. This was kind of a last event.
This is a freestyle. Yep. The mystery person is coming back. Sorry, Darren, I should tell you about this. On the 28th of November, we're gonna hear a mystery person's story, more of her life. Tonight, the guest Beary couldn't show up tonight, which is perfectly fine. Things come up in our life, and with us, we have to be adaptable, and we have to be very versatile here, and be flexible. Another question for you guys. Both of y'all can answer this if you want. Do you believe that there are things on the other side that humans were never meant to communicate with?
Yes. Lee?
Pretty much.
All right. So that we're coming down to the last bit. You guys got any final words?
Oh, hey. we got one right here real quick here. Let's throw on some of these questions here before we end the show tonight. The Sun Dragon 6461. I have encountered an angry spirit on my land that I awoke. He was native and a protector of the land I live on. He reached and broke a lamp. I went to talk to him. I couldn't see him as spirit as we. Oh, geez. Protective land. Where at Z Sun Dragon? That's very interesting. Yeah. Okay, right here. Carry fast date. That would be a torment to know someone's passing soon. Reminds me of that Nickelback video. He is seeing numbers above everyone's head to count down to when they are checking out. Yeah. Yeah,
Ouch.
my grandpa had a dream just like that too. He in his dream, he saw the numbers on all his siblings, and the numbers that were before him, he named them what siblings they were. And when the time came when they all checked out in the same order of numbers that he told us, and he himself included. So that's nothing to add on to that. Yeah. Okay. So is there any last thing you guys want to share out there? Any shout outs? Lee, mystery person number 2?
Anybody?
I guess my shout out was to Rai, Codex of Codega. You guys like hearing some of my stories? I got a couple episodes on his as well. Same as Lodge Tales. There are a bunch of good podcasts that help kind of spread the word as well.
Yeah, and also, didn't you recently do Myth, Monsters, and Mullets too?
Yeah,
So-
I got another episode on that on the 19th of this coming week, actually.
Nice. Oh,
Yeah. And if you really do, Leah has another show, Holly's Pandorum. I think Darren and I we're on all these other podcasts that Lee mentioned. You know, we like to jump on other shows, and you know, we all cross pollinate with one another. And you know, if you guys listening out there have your own shows, feel free to reach out to us. We'd like to jump onto your shows and help share our knowledge and share our culture and who we are, our identity, and you know, just it's best to let the person from the area speak about it instead of somebody reading someone else's stories that has no idea of the situation, no idea of the people, the culture, the region. So that's one of the things we like to do here on the show. You know, we'll bring on a native from Oklahoma, Montana, different parts of Turtle Island, and have them share the experience. So all of us are all human libraries here. Yeah, I'd like to say thank you to Lee and mystery person number 2, and shout out to Ride the Codega, the intro and the outro. So I don't know if you guys noticed the radio voice, right? So you know, shout out to Lodge Tales and Myth, Monsters, and Mullets, and everyone out there. You know, all you guys were kind enough to reach out to us to come on your show, and you know, reach out again. We would like that. Mystery person number 2, do you have anything you would like to share?
Not so much. Just a simple shout out to Don, Darren, Lee, and your team. I know I was kind of listening to Lee's perspective, and you know, I hope the guests that went through what they went through. I hope they're doing okay. You know, kudos on all of you guys for taking care of each other and making sure that you guys can continue to do that. And shout out to your team. I hope one of these days I can meet all of you guys.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Just don't assassinate us. I'm just kidding. Yep. Likewise. Darren, is there any shout outs you'd like to do before we wrap up the show tonight?
let's see. Yeah, I think besides being Mental Health Month, I think it's the LGBTQ community thing month too going on. So to that, Maddie, hey, take care of yourself, buddy. Matthew.
Oh yeah. Shout out to everybody out there. You know, Two Spirit. You know, we're all here, And all best thing we can do is, show the inner light, love each other. Because if we do a great job of coexisting and accepting one another for who they are, I'm pretty sure that the green guys up there will come down and, who knows? We don't have to pay rent and work 8-10 hours a day. Maybe our back would have a little more fluid in our knees when it pops so loud, and being a slave to the government. I mean,
Right. So
we all want freedom here, but
yeah, gas is 89 cents again. So who knows?
oh
man?
yeah. We gotta hurry up with that John Connor, and build AI, and pretty soon we don't have to work anymore. But I digress on all that. I digress. The end times is coming, but not today. Not today. Lee, thank you again. Mystery person, thank you again for this freestyle night. Next week, Lee is coming back on. Mr. Lee will be back on. And you guys stay tuned. It's gonna be another great show, and we're going to be getting into more of the topic that we kind of brushed on here. There's things that Lee didn't share that went on that night, and we're going to save some of the juicy stuff for next week.
Mhm.
And yes, MJ Yucca Fruit, we are all related. Yes, we are all family here. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Z-Sun Dragon, thank you for hanging out in the chat and welcoming in everybody and saying hi to everybody. Thank you. Okay, Linking Atlas, do you believe that we can leave this planet and visit other planets? Yeah. It goes to the astral projection.
Yeah.
One of the first things that I experienced with when my grandmother died, the night before we were supposed to bury her, she came to my dreams, and I was 6 years old at the time. In my dream, I did something to piss my mom off, and my mom was chasing me around the house with a stick or something to whip my ass. And I ran around the house 2 times, and the third time I came around the front, I see my grandma sitting underneath the tree. And she said to me in Navajo, go, go de ya, go. It's just saying, come on, let's go. Let's go to heaven, let's get out of here. So I ran to her, I hugged her. I was like, why did you leave me? I was mad at her, crying. And at the time, I didn't know what it was we were getting into. But what I got into was a chariot. And we started going, and we started going vertical. We went out of the atmosphere here on this planet. And I seen the galaxies and the Milky Ways, everything that we see through the powerful microscopes. I've seen that already, the stardust, the galaxies, and everything. And I woke up to a planet that was full of light and full of life. And I've been to that planet 3 different times, where I met my grandpa twice, and I was brought to my dog that left me last year. So we do visit planets. We do visit in this reality that we check out. When we close our eyes, there's another reality that we awake to, and that's a parallel universe. And there's more mystery to this world that we know it. And we're all here to enjoy this journey, to enjoy this human experience together. But although we're all human, but we're more than human. We have spirit, we have a soul that's more beyond anything and anyone can ever explain or ever amount to anything. And it's one of the things that's greatest, because the Creator gave us that life and made us. And to that, shout out to everyone watching. Shout out to all you guys hanging out on the airwaves and on the radio stations out there. So if you guys want to hang out with us more, our team here, you guys can go to Facebook group page, look up Don't Whistle at Night podcast. You can go to TikTok, look up Don't Whistle at Night podcast on TikTok. Darren's there, Navajo Carpenter Lee's there. So we have our own handles there, but you can find all of us there. And we do lives there twice sometimes. When I work, at work, we go on the lives, we joke around, and then maybe tomorrow night we'll do a TikTok live, maybe 2 hours, and we'll all share different scary stories, like a freestyle type of deal. If you guys want to join, please look for us. And we do have a lot of fun. We do our best to take you guys with us on our lives, investigating investigation lies with the Starlink. So keep a lookout for us, guys, and much love to each and every one of you out there. One more time, guys. You guys want to say laters up here?
Later.
Bye.
Laters. Good night.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Likewise, guys. Enjoyed it. You guys take it easy out there, wherever you are. You guys keep doing that good voodoo that you do. I'm just kidding. You guys keep being a good positive force out there. Love one another, take care of each other, listen to one another. Whether it be paranormal story or personal story. And thank you guys for tuning in tonight. And I am going to close the show. Darren, you want to say laters one more time before I close out the show?
Later. Laters. Come back next week. And like, share, and subscribe. It's good to talk about stuff like this, and that's the goal right here, is to talk more about it. So it's for the people, it's for the people, for them to, feel more comfortable talking about subjects like these, because I know it's really difficult to talk about this. And, come by and talk with us, kick back and enjoy. All right.
Oh, yeah.
And have a good night.
Oh yeah, don't be square, guys. Don't be shy. We don't bite. Just like Raymond and Pine Hill's most interesting man said, we're here. We're here, and we'll still be here. You guys take care out there, and thank you for tuning into Don't Whistle at Night. We have been broadcasting live here on the United Public Radio Network, 107.7 FM in New Orleans. I'm your host, Don Yazzie, and co-host Darren Yazzie right there.
Yeah.
From all of us here on the UPRN, and everyone out there, have a great weekend. Be safe, and be sure to catch us next week here on tonight. You guys have a great one. Take care. Bye-bye now.
Laters.
Welcome to Don't Whistle at Night podcast, where Navajo legends echo in the shadows. Darren and Dawn will guide you through the sacred fire of native storytelling, where the old stories breathe, the unknown walks among us, and voices, long hidden, rise to be heard. And remember, don't whistle at night.